with the legend Tom Chambers. The Suns had one field goal in the final 5:26. Brooks had a field goal, 5:26 left. They didn't hit another shot until Booker's three with 3 seconds to go.
Yeah, it went really stagnant. I thought Book did a great job of getting himself in the paint on the dotted line and passed it back out for threes when I think he's got a little left-handed hook or a little right-handed hook.
Can't wait for that. He had Banchero there. It was 6'10" and intimidating.
He had a big guy. You know, I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. did a nice job on the offensive glass for him, too, and kept them in the game, in my opinion. But, yeah, they had three guys that were really good, scoring 20 points or so, Banchero and Suggs and oh, my gosh, Banchero, yeah. Yeah. But it was just, Bane, I'm sorry. But it was... I thought it was in the bag. I thought that when the Suns went up 3, the way they've been playing defense, they were going to continue that. But this Orlando team wanted to win really, really bad. They were struggling.
Boy, they were humiliated by Toronto in their last game. Lost by 52. Raptors went on a 31-0 run in that game. Before we get to some of our topics, I want your impression of Dillon Brooks. Missed the last 18 games for the Suns with that broken left hand. Suns went 9-9 in those games. Definitely transition time for him. He wound up 4 of 12 from the field and played 22 minutes.
You know, I thought there were some good things. He knocked down some shots there to start the second half and even the first shot of the basketball game. But there were a couple times where he put his head down and tried to go one-on-one when I think that extra pass should have been made. I have no problem with Dillon Brooks taking his open shot when it comes to him or taking a one-dribble step back, which is really a comfortable shot for him. But that one at the end when he took it one-on-one, I was like, I'd rather have Jalen Green going one-on-one in that situation.
Well, and again, it changes up the rotations, especially in the fourth quarter. We saw that miraculous fourth period last night in Memphis. Again, Grizzlies, you know, without many of their star players. But the Suns had a different group on there on the floor in the fourth quarter last night. Tonight it was Dillon and Grayson. Grayson still looks like he's not 100% healthy. Goody was kind of limping around. Then you had Royce and Book out there. So those were kind of the closers. Goody and Grayson, again, just didn't look from the naked eye and from here in Phoenix like they were absolutely healthy.
Well, Goody was limping. I don't know what he was limping for. Hopefully it's just a cramp or something like that, like Suggs got, where he had to come out of the game for a second because he went right back in when I thought it looked pretty serious. And Grayson still is kind of, you know, kind of a little bit gimpy out there. So they're not there. Obviously, they said to the coach they're fine, they're ready to go, and they're ready to play. But Rasheer had been so good and so fresh, you know, and he really had. And Jalen, I know he had knocked down a couple of shots, wasn't playing great basketball, but he beat this team last time on a Hail Mary, and he was 5 of 25.
And he really didn't play in the fourth quarter in this one. Booker hits 18,000 points for his career. Mentioned that he finished with 34 points. How about this? 16 of 19 from the striker. It'll take a full month for him to go to the line 19 times.
Well, you know, last couple games they haven't been friendly, the officials, to him tonight. But you know what? He was getting beat up all night. He could have shot 38. I mean, they were hitting him the entire time out there tonight.
And Grayson.
Yeah, and Grayson.
And Colin.
There's a lot of free throw shots tonight, a lot of personal fouls, and I'll tell you what, Tom, it really slowed the game down.
It did. Man, 76 total free throws in this game. We talk about the physicality of Orlando as Booker sinks that three-pointer and hits that 18K mark. But really, this game started with a physical presence by the Orlando Magic. They put their imprint on this game immediately, and Book now 18,000, and it continues to move up the charts.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Book is just, he's one of those guys. I mean, he's going to continue to do this for a long period of time, and one of the quickest ones to get to 18,000 points, in the league. So it's just, you know, we get to see him all the time. We're spoiled by what he does out there on the basketball floor. I wish when that big stretch of, you know, that big space of no baskets being made, he would have taken a couple, because you saw what he could do on that three-point shot with the guy right in his mug, you know.
And, you know, early on, the Suns were down 16. Didn't even know if this was going to be a game.
Right.
They get within 3. Then they go down 14 again to Orlando. Then the Suns take the lead, so they kept coming back. Just couldn't get it done in that fourth quarter. And we touched on Goody and Rasheer. They did it in the last game against Memphis, and they did it especially in the first half. When the Suns fell behind by 16, those were the two that spearheaded the comeback.
They really did, and they were able to score offensive rebounds, a nice layup there by Rasheer, but mostly it's off that defensive end. Goody is just, he's relentless on the defensive end. There he knocks down a 3 after a steal, and just love what he does and watching him the whole time, because he does not stop on defense. He does not stop on the offensive glass, and Rasheer knocked down that 3 there, which was fun to watch. But watching Goody, oh man, it's just what a joy to watch how hard he plays down there. Goes and gets that offensive rebound, and then right after that, he got fouled.
So the Suns fall 115-111 to the Magic. Rasheer flying in for the flush. We head back to Orlando to join up with our guy, EJ Eddie Johnson. Eddie, I want to talk to you about Royce and Colin because they are the first two Suns teammates to hit 200-plus threes in one season. I want you to talk about them and at the same time, too, why the offense kind of dried up on the Suns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, look, those two guys have shot the ball extremely well this year, especially when they're open. They didn't get many open opportunities tonight. Royce shook loose for a little bit. But, yeah, you have to be proud of the shooting that they have exhibited all year long. And, look, Suns just couldn't make shots. I thought to start the game, I felt like they played too fast. And in playing too fast, it led to foul trouble for one, Dillon. It led to turnovers. They gave up 26 points on turnovers. And I thought that was the difference early on. So the bad first quarter, I thought in a ways did them in because they spent the rest of the game trying to catch up. And then in the fourth quarter, because you exerted so much energy, now all of a sudden legs a little bit heavier, they couldn't make shots. 17 points in the quarter. And then so that's the difference right there. I just thought with Dillon being back, I think the energy kind of transferred from him to everybody. Whereas normally it's just him exerting that overabundance of confrontational energy. It seemed like everybody had it. I mean, Devin got a tech. I mean, it just seemed like everybody was getting into it. And you know, that's not how the Suns play. You know, I think they play being more the control, pushing the ball, and then making teams pay with their passing. And they really couldn't get into it until the middle quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, you know, they just obviously, in my estimation, ran out of gas because they could not find shots.
I'll tell you what, Eddie, you talk about not finding shots. Devin Booker was able to get himself in the paint 4 or 5 times in a row, seemingly in that fourth quarter. And rather than try and finish with his left hand or little jump hook, he passed it out behind the line. So maybe he was a bit fatigued at that point.
Yeah. Well, give credit to their defense. They were playing very physical. And we were going with a small lineup a lot in the game. And because Oso got into foul trouble. So because of that, you know, it can take its toll. And so, you know, look, we drove to the basket, didn't get the calls. I think got frustrated with that. And just the rhythm that we normally enjoy in a high-tempo game like this, we normally really make a team pay a price for it. We just couldn't do it tonight.
All right, I want to end on a positive note with both of you. And Eddie, a couple weeks ago, we had Amari Stoudemire in town, and he joined us in studio. So we thought that we would have Amari make the case for Tom Chambers going to the Hall of Fame, and TC making the case for Amari going into the Hall of Fame. And by all reports, Amari will be going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Take a look at this.
So we're going to start with TC's going to make the case for Amari Stoudemire going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Get after it, TC.
Are you kidding me right there? This man is a stud. 6-time All-Star. And we talked about the team before. It was just a powerful, powerful group with Amari leading the way. All-NBA selection 5 times, and that's what? 1 first, 4 seconds?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, now they got like 7 teams, you know. I mean,
right.
Well, yeah, we did back in the day, right?
Right.
We did back in the day, had 1 or 2. An Olympian, too, huh?
Right.
Don't forget the Olympian, yeah. So, yeah, he's in.
I loved on the graphic, too, Eddie. You can't see it, but it said lots of awesome dunks by Amari Stoudemire. I know we are all so proud of him, what he's gone through in his life, especially as a younger person, what he did in the NBA. What was your reaction when you found out through the reports that Amari will be going into the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Well, I think what he has done is he did so much before he had to deal with that lower leg injury that it was enough. And he was spectacular. I mean, this is a guy that when he first came into the league as a young teenager, he couldn't make a jumper. Flat line drives, jump shot, barely hit the rim. He improved it. He became one of the better pick and pop players in the game and one of the most intimidating players in the game. I saw many a veteran back in that time was fearful of Amari Stoudemire, not just on his dunks, but just his physicality around the basket. And you know, he deserves it. I mean, he had a tremendous career, and it could have been short-circuited because of the knee, but he gave enough. You know, those 7-second or less teams I thought was some of the most exciting basketball that we've seen. And so congratulations to Amari. And, you know, time